So I am not so sure what it is that President Trump is going to say tonight. I don't know. I'm not sure what the purpose of the speech is and what he's going to get into. I do know that we have to answer the question: who killed Ella Kirk? Sorry, Cook. I've been getting that confused all day. But when people are assassinated, killed in cold blood, it tends to happen. I'm Tony Katz. The show is Tony Katz today. It's not you. I have a cold. It's messing with everything. Let the show begin. So is it going to be an announcement that we're at war with Venezuela, or is it going to be an announcement of great economic progress, or is it going to be, well, what's behind curtain number 3? Tony Katz today. Good to be here. Good to be with you. It's not your radio. I have a cold. And it is officially messing with me. President Trump is set to address the nation. And I'm telling you right now, I don't know. I don't know what he's going to say. I don't know what he's going to try to say. I don't know what the purpose is. When you have the bully pulpit, you get the opportunity of getting primetime TV. You get the opportunity to have the whole nation focus, or at least those people who haven't found something to binge watch on Netflix. I mean, some people haven't seen Stranger Things yet. I'm one of those people. But as for what it's going to be, as for what it's going to address, I don't know. I'm not sure what it is that he's going to go for. It could be a basic economic message. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. We're going into the new year, and the one big beautiful bill is going to take effect, and I want you to know how this is going to help you with your tax situation. Here's what you're going to be able to write off. Here's what you're going to do here. Here's what you can do there. Here's all the things that are going to be happening. Could be that. It could be him trying to reset the message on the economy as we head into this election year for the midterms, and he wants to utilize this moment to get everybody on the same page. Not America, his party and the people who go out there and do the messaging. It could very easily be that kind of economic message. He could use the moment to discuss what happened in Australia and 16 murdered because 2 Islamists went about trying to kill Jews. I mean, we should be clear. We have a problem with Islamists. We have a problem with those who want to destroy Western civilization. President Trump himself.
Let me take a moment.
At the White House yesterday. A celebration there.
Let me take a moment to send the love and prayers to our entire nation, to the people of Australia, and especially all those affected by the horrific and anti-Semitic terrorist attack, and that's exactly what it is, anti-Semitic, that took place on a Hanukkah celebration in Sydney. What a terrible, terrible thing. We don't learn. We're joined in mourning all of those who were killed, and we're praying for the swift recovery of the wounded. Some are very horrifically wounded, as you probably know. All nations must stand together against the evil forces of radical Islamic terrorism, and we're doing that.
Maybe it'll be that. Maybe it'll be a deeper conversation and the recognition that the people out there who want to make these claims of, oh, there's a genocide in Gaza, you lying frauds, we've already exposed this. No genocide in Gaza coming from Israel, coming from Hamas. Well, they don't care if the people there live or die. The war is over. The next day, everybody has food. They always had the food. Hamas keeps food from their people. We see you, whether you're Dave Smith or Tucker or Candace or all the rest. We see right through you. We know you're full of crap. We see it. Tucker Carlson saying we should be better friends with Qatar than we are with Israel. I don't know why this works for you. Qatar harbors terrorists. It's a weird thing to be in favor of. But we can clearly see that the Islamists is not just a threat to Jews, it's a threat to Christians, because Christians are the target. All rational people know this once you start addressing this and understanding this and seeing what the goal is. The goal is to have the worldwide caliphate. The goal is to be in charge. It's not. It's the only goal. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Don't say, oh, you're just ginning people up for fear. These are the facts. I listen. When someone tells you who they are, believe them the first time. All Islamists are terrorists who want a caliphate and want everyone to submit or die. The end. That means this isn't about Jews, it's about Christians. Christians are going to have to save Western civilization. Because my people, they are not so bright. They end up being people like Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the congresswoman from Florida, who was on with Leland Vittert on News Nation yesterday.
What is the bigger threat to America right now, American values, American life? Islamophobia or jihad?
I think we have to focus, quite frankly, on, if we're worried about the threat to American values, on the person who's in the White House. I mean, we have a president.
Oh, come on. Really?
No,
is that where we're going? Come on.
Yeah, I'm going there because we have a president who has completely undermined our democracy, who has.
So you don't see jihad. You don't see this as a problem.
What I don't see is it as a single lens problem. We have a president who has been determined to undermine our constitutional principles, to degrade our democracy, to divide instead of unite us.
The person asking the questions is Leland Vittert. Absolute madness. The question is jihad or wait, what was that opening question again?
What is the bigger threat to America right now, American values, American life? Islamophobia or jihad?
And your answer is Trump? You're deranged. You're deranged. And let me go a step further. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, you're going to get Jews killed. You. Let me say it again in case anybody didn't hear me. You, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, are going to get Jews killed because you will not say the words that Islamists are a danger to Western civilization, to Jews, to Christians, and yes, to other Muslims. You're such a coward, such a wimp. You will sacrifice your children at the altar of your liberalism, and so we are clear, they will be sacrificed. The problem is you want to sacrifice my children too, and the answer there is no. We're not going to have that. And good on Leland for saying, what in the world is wrong with you? And the look on his face, like, are you engaged in any level of seriousness here?
So you don't see jihad. You don't see this as a problem.
What I don't see is it as a single lens problem. We have a president who has been determined to undermine our constitutional principles, to degrade our democracy, to divide instead of unite us. The responsibility of our
I have to say, Congressman, you know how much I admire you, and I always appreciate being willing to come on and discuss things. But we booked you to talk about anti-Semitism and Islamophobia in America. So I'm asking the question
about Islam.
Leland knows. Leland knows what time it is. She won't say it. She won't say it because her party is lousy with anti-Semites, with Jew haters, with bigots, and people who support the Islamists. We're at where we're at. So maybe this is going to be the focus of President Trump's speech tonight. These Democrats, they are fine with Christians getting slaughtered because after the Jews are done with, that's who's next. By the way, I would give anything for that to be the speech tonight. I don't actually think it is. That's my like behind curtain number 3 one. He could go down that road, just blow up the Democratic Party like that. They are so absolutely afraid of being honest about the jihadist and Islamist threat that they can't say a word for fear of offending Muslims. There's a problem. Islam needs a reformation. That reformation hasn't happened yet. Even if 1% of all Muslims are radicalized, there's 2 billion Muslims, that's 20 million people. That, kids, is a real issue. That's a danger, and it's a danger everywhere. It's a danger in the United States. It's a danger in Australia. It's a danger in the UK. It is a danger everywhere, including Israel. So that could be number two. And just so we're clear, I want to make sure no one misunderstood me. Debbie Wasserman Schultz is a coward. Debbie Wasserman Schultz is willing to sacrifice her children to her liberalism. I would say it to her face. I apologize for nothing. And that is why locally I don't get invited to speak at more Jewish events because, man, Jews don't like hearing honesty. No. They are so desperate to giving up their Judaism for their liberalism. Absolutely. They don't want to hear this. They don't want to know that they have clearly sided with the enemy. And then they'll say ridiculously daft things like, we stand together. We don't need to stand together. We need to stand together with guns in hand, ready to destroy the enemy who's trying to kill us and our kids. Buy guns, buy ammo, and get trained. If the people of Australia were armed, these people don't get off all those shots. See, their argument is, well, thank goodness they don't allow AR-15s in Australia. It'd be better if you didn't allow Islamists in Australia. Is this too hard of a conversation? The Jews gathered on the beach to celebrate Hanukkah and maybe have a cookie. The Islamists gathered on the beach to kill the Jews. There's a difference. And liberal Jews won't admit the difference. They are a danger to all of us. The Islamist is more of a danger than Donald Trump, and the liberal Jew is more of a danger than Donald Trump as well. Because they give safe harbor to the Islamist. And anyone who wants to take me up on this, I'm right here. I got phones, I got microphones, I can live stream you in. Not a problem. You know I'm right. Everybody listening knows I'm right. Just not enough people willing to say it. I don't think I'm the only one willing to say it. I just think there's not enough people willing to say it. And as you just saw from Debbie Wasserman Schultz, total coward. So that could be part of Trump's speech tonight. I think that's curtain number 3. I think that's the rarest of the pick. It could be about Venezuela. 11 warships, 15,000 troops, the designating of a Maduro and those fishing boats, feel the air quotes, as narco-terrorists, discussing the idea that the nation is surrounded. He had brought up last week, we can stop them by sea, stop them by land. And there's a question of what does that mean? I made the argument yesterday, and I made the argument on Newsmax yesterday, that the president is not going to come to Congress and declare war. He is going to go about doing what he believes that the commander-in-chief can do. It is Congress's job to exercise their authority. It's not the job of the executive to do Congress's job, to do the legislative's job. So he's going to keep doing his thing. I do not mind if Congress says, you have to come to us and ask us to declare war, and this all stops right now. I do not mind the legislative branch exercising their authority. Not the slightest. But could the president use tonight to say, we are going to stop this threat in the Western Hemisphere? Because in case you all didn't know, Tony Katz has been talking about this, and some others have as well. We have a new game plan, and that game plan is the old game plan. This is the Monroe Doctrine. The Western Hemisphere belongs to us. And we are going to be sure that we make sure everybody knows it. The Western Hemisphere is ours. And no one can mess around in our hemisphere. No one can threaten our safety and security in our hemisphere. That goes for you too, China. All those investments in South America, goodbye. You think you can park yourself or the Russians off the coast of Cuba and engage some drills? Nah, that's over. You tried to screw with us in the Panama Canal. We took the Panama Canal. Can you imagine what we do next? The Western Hemisphere is ours. Go have a nice day. And Venezuela, Maduro is a thug who stole 2 elections and is in power only because somehow the military still follows him. But you see that party over there? That's the party that's really in power, and that's who we're going to start recognizing. So Maduro, you got to go. That party over there, that's who we're recognizing. You, Maduro, have to go. I'll give you 2 days. You don't get to send drugs to our country, kill our kids, and get away with it. That dog won't hunt. But we'll hunt. I got a military that loves to hunt, Nick. You want to play a game? That conversation could very well be coming. But until it happens, we don't know. I will be here tomorrow to break it down for sure. My guess is the first. It's going to be an all-economic message with these other little things mixed in. My second guess would be Venezuela. My long shot would be the anti-Semitism and the Islamists and the threat to our future. Could be all three. Who knows? Keep it here. This is Tony Katz today. Sorry, guys. My mother texted me. So I had to remind her for the 9 millionth time that I do a radio show. Oh, God. I'm laughing because I can see you because you've had this conversation with your 78-year-old mother before. Oh, my gosh. By the way, can I tell you? It's a cold, right? So it's that general feeling that you have a cold. I'm not sleeping perfect. I can see it everywhere in me. Holy cow. Like it good gosh, man. I feel like I've aged a million years, but I like the shirt. The shirt looks really good. Beefcake. I said beefcake right there. Yeah, I do. I look like all messed up, all out of sorts. Anyway, so my mother's texting me. She just doesn't know that I'm on the air. So terrific. Yeah, okay. Also, my main station, WIBC, massive technical issues. They moved buildings. They moved a series of stations, like 9 stations, from one building to another building. And I'm amazed we're on the air. Like, it's that. But I can't, there's no one to complain to. Everyone's working like 20 hours a day and they're working in shifts and they're handling stuff. And Some things are just not done yet, and the streaming is something else. Yeah. So they're not going to get to it yet. Yes, 9 stage, crazy move. Absolutely brutal. By the way, Nick, I don't think I would know a Saw reference. Can I tell you how much I hate the Saw movies? Because just the idea of that is, I hate that dude. I hate that dude. Oh my God. Anyway, back to it. We ask the question, as everyone should be asking, who killed Ella Cook? It is absolutely imperative we start getting answers, and we don't get the answers. Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. I've got a lot on this topic. Ella Cook was killed at Brown University, and it's very possible that she was targeted. There is a lot of talk online about a guy who may have done this, who claims to be Palestinian-born or a Lebanese-born Palestinian refugee, uses the they-them pronouns, wears the keffiyeh. And the reason this is being talked about is because they had a page at Brown University and it's been scrubbed. Completely like wiped clean, like you can't find a trace. But people have screenshots and all sorts of things. And that person is heavy set, and the person in the video that they have is heavy set, but they don't have a video of anybody walking in and out of the classroom. Somehow we don't have that. It's just like we were told that they yelled something before the shooting. Well, what did they yell? Well, they yelled something. Yes, but what did they yell? Well, we can't really tell you. Oh, why can't you tell us? According to witnesses, the shooter yelled Allahu Akbar. So going back to Debbie Wasserman Schultz, there you go. There you go. They didn't share that with us. They were reticent to share that with us. And then, so there's this talk about a potential suspect, and the Attorney General of Rhode Island's like, don't you dare speculate now.
There are lots of reasons why a page might be taken down, particularly if there's chatter out there about, to your question, Amanda, about words that were spoken. It's easy to jump from someone saying words that were spoken to what those words are, to a particular name that reflects a motive targeting a particular person. That's a really dangerous road to go down. Really dangerous. If that name meant anything to this investigation, we would be out looking for that person. We would let you know we were looking for that person. You know, again, I think...
I don't believe you would tell us. Oh, by the way, in the video, there is a sign language interpreter next to the Attorney General of Rhode Island, and the word on the street is, that's not sign language. Now, I don't know if that's totally true. If anybody knows sign, I know very little ASL, so I'm not an expert enough. But the word on the street is not actual sign language being used. I swear to you, it is a clown show. A total clown show going on in Providence, Rhode Island. But this young woman is dead. She was murdered. She was the vice president of the College Republicans in a classroom that was taught by or run by a professor who runs Jewish studies. Why don't we have information? Why don't we have video? Who killed Ella Cook? Keep asking until we get answers, guys. This is Tony Katz today. The whole thing, Bruce, about the I mean, here I'll play the rest of it for you.
I think it's just a really dangerous road to go down. I know that in today's age, there are lots of things that people read into things. It's just a dangerous thing to do. And I would leave it to us to identify persons of interest and let us run them down. What the public can do for us today is help us figure out who this guy is. And we hope to have more information out.
I have absolutely no idea whether it's right or whether it's wrong. But if it turns out she's not legit, if it turns out she doesn't do this, oh my gosh. Meanwhile, woman is dead, and we still don't have answers. We still do not have answers, and I have a very hard time with it all. And I'm not going to get lectured to. Although, you know what? I'll leave that story right there. Give me 1 second, guys. I will be right back. Get your tickets. Tickets.TonyKatz.com. Trump 1 year later, the highs, the lows, and how we win the midterms. That's happening January 24th, 2026. I had to blow my nose. It's the cold, and now it's affecting the ears, and it's a mess. But it won't affect January 24th. If I have a cold, if I lose a leg, I will be there, ready to entertain. I have got so much data on the midterms. I'm looking at stuff that I don't think anybody is looking at. I cannot wait to bring it to you. Cannot wait to share this with you. Tickets.TonyKatz.com. So I have a note on my whiteboard here that says, not Congress, Democrats. What was that note about? Because, right, it's right under something for Obamacare subsidies. So I'm not sure what it was about. There we go. There's that. Ah, yes. The discharge petition. All right. Coming back to the radio show. And Rob Reiner's son will be arraigned on murder charges. I'll bring you that story as well. And a discharge petition on Obamacare. That's good Lord. And there's a real issue that Speaker Johnson now has. His future is absolutely at risk.
We saw Republicans rebuke the speaker on Epstein. Now we're seeing it on health care. Is his speakership in jeopardy? What is the vibe, and what are you hearing behind the scenes?
Well, absolutely his speakership's in jeopardy. He's clearly lost control of his caucus, but who would they replace him with? Who would be able to control that caucus? Look, I think the most important thing is the entire Republican caucus needs to be held responsible for all of the horrific stuff they've done this year, and that's about next year's election.
Adam Smith, a Democrat from Washington State. If you want to talk about things terribly done, let's take a look at Washington State. Tony Katz. Tony Katz today. Good to be here. Good to be with you. I do not take lessons from the political left when it comes to how one should act and how members of Congress or the party in power should be doing things. We know they rule with an iron fist. We know that they have no caring about the actual people. When we take a look at the idea of Obamacare subsidies, they are such flat out frauds and liars. I mean, that's exactly the correct terminology here. That's not me engaging in a level of hyperbole. Obamacare subsidies came about because of COVID. COVID's over, but Democrats want to keep the subsidies for another 3 years and have declared that if Republicans don't vote for the subsidies, they're increasing healthcare costs. That's a lie. It's a fraud. And Republicans don't say that, and they don't come out swinging, beating Democrats about the head and neck, theoretically, metaphorically, certainly linguistically, on TV, radio, etc. No one has stopped Chuck Schumer in the middle of a speech and called him a blanking liar to his face. Also, Chuck, you don't know how to make a cheeseburger, you loser, and walked away. No one is throwing haymakers in the Republican Party. Absolutely no one. On a subject that's so easy to do. You're a bunch of low-life frauds. You were liars about Obamacare working. You were liars about the plan. You were liars about the doctors. And now you're liars about subsidies. You're the liars about subsidies. But there's a political reality at play. And the political reality at play is that if the subsidies are not increased, lengthen the time, well, then healthcare costs for people are going to go up. Now, for everybody, no. As Speaker Mike Johnson put it, for 5.7% of the country, or some percentage of the country, which is 22 million people. 22 million people. They'll see an increase, and that increase, if the subsidies come, they'll see a decrease of 5.7. So it's not much of an increase, seemingly. It is not for every American, but it is for enough in certain districts that some Republicans feel the need to move forward with this. So what has happened? A discharge petition. What is a discharge petition? I'm so glad you asked. A discharge petition, if signed by a majority of members of the House, comes to the floor for a vote. It goes around the usual standard procedure. It goes directly to the floor. Democrats put forth a discharge petition, and 4 Republicans have signed on to it. Mike Lawler of New York, Brian Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania, Robert Bresnahan of Pennsylvania, Ryan McKenzie of Pennsylvania. Makes you think there's something going on in the Northeast. But what it does is show that this is the second discharge petition to take place in 2 months. The first, Epstein files. That's correct. Well done. Well played. This is the second. That is a real problem for Mike Johnson. Now, I think there is a point to which Adam Smith is correct here. Who are you going to replace him with? It's a great question. How does one have strength when one does not have a level of lead? You don't have enough people, enough of a cushion. You don't. It's a hard thing to do. Now, in our chat room there on the live stream, youtube.com/Tony Katz, Dark Rogue, good man, says the uniparty is alive and well. Hold on. Are we talking about a uniparty, which I admit to you is a concept I reject? Or are all politics local, and these guys are going to have a hard time with re-election if they don't do this? There are electoral realities all over the place. And it seems that the Democrats were able to press their hand, which is an amazing thing to watch and witness. Just like in the Senate, Democrats are very good at something. Even when they're in the minority, even when they lost, They not only don't care, they always act like they won. They are always coming at you from a position of power, even when they have none. And the reason they do it is because Republicans are very good at caving, giving in. The reality is Obamacare has to go. The Affordable Care Act doesn't work, and it's not enough to defund the thing. We have to rip it out from the root. We have to change the system fundamentally. However, Republicans have no plan to do that. It's been 15 freaking years, and they don't have a plan to do that in the slightest. They don't really have a plan now. The argument now from the Republicans is, why are we giving the money to the insurance companies? Why don't we give the money to the people? And this is the argument that people like Speaker Johnson are trying to make. They're trying to make the argument that you have to change where the money goes. So this was him earlier today on CNBC.
Era enhanced subsidy, the premium tax credit, has been a big issue around here of debate for months now. We knew that we were coming to the end of the year when it would expire. And remember, the Democrats created this COVID era subsidy. They are the ones that put the expiration date on it. And now they're turning to Republicans as if we should save that in some way. We couldn't find consensus on it with the body in order to pass it. Here's the reason. Everybody needs to understand there's a false narrative out there about these subsidies. It's subsidizing insurance companies. And when you do that, you're masking the cost, the rising cost of healthcare, and you're making the premiums rise even further. But here's the false narrative. The Democrats are pretending as though this affects everybody in the country. It affects 7% of Americans, this extended subsidy. And of those, even if it was extended without any reforms at all, it would only reduce that small group of Americans' premiums by 5.7%.
So let's say that's right. 7% reduces premiums by 5.7. If all of those people are in your district, you're going to vote to continue the subsidies. There's politics at play here. That's what are they supposed to do? Now, CNBC does a little bit of pushback.
The Democrats
we are talking
have tried to
22
pretend
to
as though
24
this is all
million
about
Americans.
healthcare.
No, I understand
we
that this
are,
is not for everybody, but it's 22 to 24 million Americans, and there are some Republicans whose districts are going to face some real trouble and some real issues with this. We've talked to some of them. I understand that Mike Lawler from New York was particularly upset yesterday, that he was kind of furious about it, said it's idiotic, it's political malpractice. That's what he told Axios on some of this. They said they could hear him yelling from outside the room yesterday where all of you were meeting.
Well, no. I was in that room with him, and Mike Lawler's one of my close friends. In fact, I was with him in his district in New York City just 2 weeks ago, campaigning for a couple of days, raising him money and helping him get reelected. He's an essential member of our conference and a really smart guy. And what he was arguing for is this 7% of Americans. But here's the point. What we're going to do today is the first of multiple steps to help not just 7% of Americans, but 100% of Americans reduce their premiums.
Someone in the chat room mentioned that politics is always in play. I agree. But it can only be in play if you have something to play with. Republicans haven't offered a plan. How do Republicans counter Obamacare when they have nothing to counter it with? Therefore, you're still playing with Obamacare, and you're still dealing with that reality. The fact that you and I might say to ourselves, this is an absolutely terrible thing, and it has to be ripped out by the root, America doesn't see it that way because America has never been explained. Here's a better way. Here's why this government-run crap totally fails you. Here's how we can work the system to be far better for all of us. And here's how we can tell insurance to kick the curb in many ways, kick them to the curb, go take a bath, and we can do this better. Save you money and you get better care. Where is that being offered? Well, it's being offered in a kind of weaker way here by the speaker.
Actually reduce their premiums, not subsidize insurance companies to raise the premiums, but reduce them. And the first of those votes is today. This is the Lower Premiums for All Americans Act we're going to have on the floor, and it's going to actually achieve, if it's signed into law, exactly what we're saying. It has many components. Among them are the cost sharing reduction programs, which will reduce all premiums across the board by at least 11%. And by the way, save taxpayers tens of billions of dollars. We have the health association health plans that will be a part of this today, which will give more flexibility and to small businesses and others and insureds in the marketplace. You've got PBM transparency as a part of this and the choice accounts. So there'll be a lot more flexibility in the system. Consumers will be able to have more choices and their cost will go down. We'll also increase access to care through these reforms. And again, this is just the first of many. We're going to do more of this in the first quarter of next year.
Now, I'm being asked, and again, based on the commentary in the chat, reallocation of ACA subsidies going to insurance companies and setting up an account for Americans. Please look this up. Whether I've looked it up or not, and I understand the basic concepts of what they're trying to do here, the story is they haven't packaged the story and they're not selling the story. You want to make the argument that if you go through the details make sense. They're more market-based. I'm down with it. You know what America says? You're taking away our health care. This is my point. The Republicans are not engaged in the same fight because they're not engaged in the same language. What is the language that Americans are using? The reason the left thinks that affordability is so great is that they think that's the language America's using. And that's what has Republicans concerned, that they have to be more focused on it. It's been 15 years and Republicans haven't figured out how to say, that's stupid, this is better. So I don't expect this to go anywhere. I expect the House to pass these ACA subsidies, unfortunately, over to the Senate. This is Tony Katz Today. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Good to be with you. Tony Katz Today. There we go. Much better. Now, do I want to share this guy showing up in court? Nah, I don't want to do that, do I? He killed his parents. I don't think I want to put him on video. That's my take right now. No. No. Why is there Fonnie Willis stuff? I'll have to watch that first. Make sure she's not cursing. There we go. All right, what haven't I talked about that I need to talk about? You guys tell me. You tell me what I missed. I'm not doing the Leslie Jones story. I will do the Target Freak, but I'm not doing the Leslie Jones story. No way. I'll do that. I got that right there. Good stuff. Let me go to the comments right here. Hold on. Hi, hello. I'm assuming this is a dig on Donald Trump. Right there. He hasn't brought us together. Okay. All right. I also want to thank the Democratic Party for doing such a good job of healing this nation. Just noticing. Trump should act one way, but the left can continue to act the way they do. Now, as for this comment right here, I don't know what this is, producer Landon. You explain to me what that comment is right there. Right? What am I supposed to do from the barefoot mailman? What? I don't know. Landon was talking about dude wipes. I'm going to leave it at that. Going to leave it right there. All right, let's go. Do you remember when Jasmine Crockett was laughing at how Tesla stock was falling? Oh, she was so happy, so overjoyed that Tesla stock was falling apart. Oh, couldn't say enough. They were all so thrilled to see that the market was just doing so poorly for Elon Musk. And then there was this from a guy by the name of Tim Walls.
Thing on my phone, I don't know, some of you know this on the iPhone. They've got that little stock app. I added Tesla to it to give me a little boost during the day. 225 and dropping. So
that was a guy running for vice president of the United States celebrating an American company falling down. Tesla shares have rallied from dropping 36% in the first quarter, reaching an all-time high of $489.88. They are up 21% for the year. Democrats cheered an American company failing. And Elon Musk has brought it up to 488. Sorry, 489. That was the high. He wins. And someone had calculated that he's worth, he could be very well the first trillionaire in the U.S. I think it was Nina Turner, who is a progressive out of Ohio, said, and there are people on the streets hungry, yes, and none of that has anything to do with Elon Musk. It's not Elon Musk's fault that people are hungry. It's not Elon Musk's fault that people are homeless. He didn't do this. He didn't cause this. And he doesn't owe anybody anything. That's the story. But all those Democrats who were thrilled to see him suffer, he's really suffering. Oh, once again, the left gets it wrong and roots against America and fails. This is Tony Katz today. So here's what we've got going on, guys. It is the radio break. So we will take our break. I'm going to take some cold medicine. That's definitely going to happen. So kick back, relax, smoke them if you got them. We'll be back. We've got more show to get to. And President Trump is supposed to be at Andrews Air Force Base, because the 2 U.S. service members. Oh, did that change? Did they change that? Because 2 U.S. service members who were killed in Syria, we are being returned, and Trump was scheduled to be there to receive them. So I wanted to share that with you if he was going to speak at all. We'll see. If he does, I'll bring it to you. Guys, kick back, relax. We'll be back in a few. I didn't realize the music had stopped. Oh, I feel bad now. No, I just feel terrible. Tony Katz, good to be with you. Tony Katz today. I was just, I don't know if you heard it or not, I was previewing some audio from Fani Willis, losing her mind. This is the one who tried to bring the RICO charges against Trump in Georgia. Good gosh. It is special. Special indeed. I will bring that to you. I've got Representative Lawler. Talking about the ACA vote and why he went the direction he went, but we're going to get into what happened with the FBI. That's what's coming. And yes, I saw this about the Heritage trustees resigning. I don't think Kevin Roberts is going. I think there's a lot of desire to protect Tucker Carlson. So, I don't know what I'm supposed to say there. I don't think that they're getting rid of the dude. I think he'll remain at Heritage, and Heritage will continue to remain. The music is still going? How? Hold on. I'll figure this out. No, there's no music going there. And media assets. And now it's off. That's weird that I couldn't hear it. The music's off, correct? There it is. That is super weird. Let us never forget what Mitch McConnell did for us all. I know. That's one heck of a way to start. What in the world did Mitch McConnell do for us? I'll tell you what Mitch McConnell did. Cocaine Mitch. Mitch loves China people. Mitch. Remember the guy who ran against him in Kentucky? Or that was the guy from West Virginia talking about Mitch. That's it. Mitch McConnell kept Merrick Garland off the Supreme Court. Mitch McConnell, when Merrick Garland was put up for nomination to the Supreme Court by Joe Biden, would not have a hearing, wouldn't do it. Nope. We've got an election coming, not going to have this. Not going to have it, not going to be a part of it, not going to bring Merrick Garland to the table. Absolutely not. It actually wasn't Joe Biden, was it? Not going to do that. Saved America. Saved America from having to deal with this hyper-partisan, absolutely horrific human being. By the way, it was Barack Obama's appointment, or tried appointment, not Joe Biden. You can see how I got them confused, considering Barack Obama was one of the people running the country while Joe Biden was allegedly the president. Tony Katz today. Good to be here. Good to be with you. 833-468-8669. 833 got Tony. That's how you get to be a part of the show. Good on Mitch. Merrick Garland, a gross political character, out of the same cloth as people like the late Harry Reid, a despicable political character. He, in the Biden administration, was running the Justice Department, where no justice took place. It was within that Justice Department that the raid at Mar-a-Lago took place. And as now the emails show, Washington Times reporting, the FBI in the Washington field office turned to the DOJ and said, we don't have the probable cause here. I know you want to go raid Mar-a-Lago, but we're looking into this. This doesn't have anything. The Justice Department said, okay, go raid Mar-a-Lago. I want it understood. The FBI said, we can't do this. We don't have it. And the Justice Department said, you do what you're told. That's why you had a search warrant for the entire home. That's why you had the raid that is unprecedented. It's because Biden and the duplicitous team that was running him, whether it's Obama or Neera Tanden or whomever else was connected. What's his name? Ron Klain, who was the chief of staff. They were all okay with this. Prove to me they weren't. You want me to believe that Joe Biden was running the country? That's hilarious. Joe Biden was okay with this. Merrick Garland was okay with this. I want them in jail. You didn't have enough for a warrant, and you did it anyway because you believed that you were Leventry Beria, leading Stalin's secret police. Show me the man and I'll show you the crime. That isn't how we work in the United States. I want jail for these people. And there's not enough jail. However long you think they should spend in jail, one more day. Life sentence, one more day. 100 years, one more day. Look how they abused the system. Look how they abused the people. Look how they lied. Look how they manipulated. Look how they gaslighted. Look at all the places that they tried to go about saying, well, Donald Trump did this and Donald Trump did that. They took the documents from a raid that they weren't allowed to use, and then they gave them to Jack Smith, an absolutely unscrupulous individual. And they said, go get him. Go get Trump. Yeah, they couldn't do it. Absolutely couldn't do it. But that has not stopped Jack Smith's attorney from coming out and saying, let me tell you, that Jack Smith, that's one great American. That Jack Smith, he is a what a great American hero.
Jack Smith looks forward today into answering the committee's questions into his investigation into President Trump's alleged attempt to unlawfully overturn the 2020 presidential election and his possession and secured the classified documents at his social club in Palm Beach. In today testifying before this committee, Jack is showing tremendous courage in light of the remarkable and unprecedented retribution campaign against him by this administration.
What retribution? We just told you. The DOJ told the FBI, we don't care if you have enough for a warrant. Search the damn house anyway. What retribution are you referring to here? Was Jack Smith part of this cabal to absolutely violate the law and to gaslight the American people into thinking there was something here of value? Merrick Garland's Justice Department. By the way, if you want a great laugh, have you heard this from Fani Willis? Fani Willis, who is the disgraced prosecutor there, a DA in Fulton County, who hired her lover, Nathan Wade, to go after Trump on the RICO stuff, the racketeering charges, and it all fell apart. It turns out that Fani Willis and Nathan Wade were, how do I describe this? I don't know. Do I have I was trying to think if I have a sound effect to describe what they were doing. Maybe that was it. There it is. Yeah, maybe that. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't that. How about this? Yeah, the better. I'm assuming that's how it went. I don't know. Producer Landon, are you okay from that? You? Okay. Thank you. Right there. I wasn't sure. The love of Nathan Wade, and it turns out he was getting paid more and then giving kickbacks to Fani Willis. That's how I always took the story. Well, she is still having to deal with this. And this was, hey, did you realize how much your lover was getting paid?
Screen. I don't review those documents, so you're asking me to look at documents that I haven't for the first time. What I can tell you is that I allowed Mr. Wade to bill 160 hours a week, and then Mr. Wade would be the first one in the office making sure that my staff arrived. He corrected their behavior. They thought that 8:30 meant 8:30. He taught them that 8:30 means 7:45. He got there before them. He left after him. He taught them how to do this case, and he was a leader to that team and a public servant. And for that, him like me has been threatened thousands of times. You want something to investigate as a legislature? Investigate how many times they've called me the N-word. Why don't you investigate that? Why don't you investigate them writing on my house? Why don't you investigate the fact that my house has been swatted? If you want something to do with your time that makes sense, and you can use all this in your campaign ad, you attacked Fani Willis. What have you done, sir? Nothing.
Ooh, jeepers. She seems angry. He taught them how to show up early. He taught them how to stay late. He taught them how to be professional. And I'll tell you something else. He was beautiful. He was the finest piece, and I've had them all. All right, that was actually Godfather 2. And the line to Tom Hagen. Poor cartoon. Poor horse. 3 people, I think, got that joke. Honestly, that's fine by me. That's like better than my average at times for the esoteric. What Merrick Garland did, what the Biden administration did. The FBI said we don't have it, and the DOJ said do what you're told. There was no interest in engaging and negotiating with Trump's attorney. There was no interest in trying to figure out a better way to resolve this. They wanted it. They wanted it. And I think that's important for us to know and to note. I think it's important for us to see who these people are, exactly who these people are. There is no debate that if Democrats had power, the abuses would return and they would be tenfold. This is all part of the conversation of the midterms. All of it. Now, January 24th, I'll be there downtown Indianapolis. Trump 1 year later, the highs, the lows, and how we win the midterms. A red tie gala, the bourbon, the food. I promise a great time. I do put on a heck of a show. The Hyatt Regency, downtown Indianapolis. Tickets.TonyKatz.com. You got to join me. Tickets.TonyKatz.com, because we're going to discuss all of this and what it means and how it plays out and why it matters and how you're going to be able to engage with people to be able to get them to realize the better path heading into the midterms and heading into 2028. It is now. So join me for that. Tickets.TonyKatz.com. I am not going to forget, and as we've seen it many, many times, what Democrats are willing to do with power. The lies, the deceit, the deception, the gaslighting, the fraud. Remember that Adam Schiff said he saw proof of Trump in Russia. He never did. He lied. He lied through his teeth, and that guy still hasn't been charged. Which does bring us back to Pam Bondi and make us ask the question, what the hell are you doing over there? When do we start seeing some action, some movement, some something? Is this why I'm now hearing again that Dan Bongino is considering leaving? Dan, buddy, if you cannot get it done from the inside, walk away with your credibility intact and then deal with it from the outside. I would like to have people on the inside who can do the thing. Do I believe every story I hear about Kash Patel? Absolutely not. Do I think he likes the limelight? I absolutely do. Is it clear that he is not perfect at running the FBI? I believe that is accurate. Is that the worst thing in the world? Not necessarily. But you, Dan, you gave up the career to try and get something done. If you're being thwarted, stop. Come over here and engage. You know, we're on your side. I mean, dear Lord, we share the same time slot. Don't worry, I'll win it. But that's not the point. The point is we want to hear what's going on. Who's actually keeping the deep state the deep state? Who is preventing the FBI from cleaning house, keeping state, or keeping the DOJ from doing these things? Who is it that we're actually up against, and how do we end this? Can't tell us, won't tell us, want to tell us, but aren't sure whether you stay in or whether you come out? I can't answer the question. But if you feel that you cannot make any more moves inside, start talking to us. Start talking to us. And let us be the pressure campaign. Because in many ways, that's exactly the way it's supposed to work. I'm Tony Katz, and this is Tony Katz Today. Welcome back, everybody. Tony Katz. Tony Katz today. First, to 160 hours a week. Yeah. If the law firm that he's with was billing 160 hours a week because there were other people that were working the case aside from just him, right? That's where the 160 comes from. And then there's Eric. My bad. I didn't mean to go on the channel because you're a racist idiot. It's exactly the kind of comment that we would expect someone like you to write. You know, we were taking bets. Hey, who's going to write the dumbest, most ridiculous, most routine garbage comment out there? And the chat room was very clear. The chat room was like 99%. They're like, oh, it's going to be Eric. Oh, it'll definitely be Eric. And producer Landon was like, I'm not sure it'll be Eric. And sure enough, producer Landon, it was Eric. Yeah, why would you go against the chat room? I mean, what are you even thinking? Why? So congratulations, Eric. You lived up to exactly what we thought of you. Just boring, tired, old rhetoric. That is Eric right there. Now, as for the event, that's true. It is a red tie gala. You don't necessarily have to wear the red tie. You can say you're wearing it, but then say, but guess where? And then people will go, excuse me, I have to take a seat somewhere not near you. That might happen as well. Don't worry. We will all help you get a tie going. And yes, Eric, huge disappointment. Huge disappointment from Eric, the small-minded freak. Wow, did you just do a Trump impression there, producer Landon? Hey, you failed pretty well. All right. Right on.
Thank you so much for being here. Congressman, we have been talking about this, and I know you have been talking about this to anyone who will listen for months, that this needs to get fixed. Republicans, I don't need to tell you, run the House. They run the Senate. There's a Republican president in the White House. So did Republican leadership fail here?
Look, we had a government shutdown for 43 days, and Democrats said this was an existential crisis. And so when the government reopened, I sat down in a good faith, bipartisan way with my Democratic colleagues and my Republican colleagues to broker a compromise piece of legislation that would extend the subsidies, but put serious reforms in place.
Unless the reforms, Representative Lawler, involve the eradication of the Affordable Care Act, nothing matters. Tony Katz today, good to be with you. But that is Representative Lawler, one of 4 Republicans who voted for the discharge, or signed on, I should say, to the discharge petition, which means the vote to increase Obamacare subsidies will now come before the House. It goes around all order, right? Rules, anything else, a discharge petition, which means a majority of the members of the House have signed on to the legislation. It comes to the House for an immediate vote. This is the second time in 2 months they've had a discharge petition. And yes, it makes Speaker Mike Johnson look weak. 10,000%. But tell us, Representative Lawler, what your plan is.
We worked to get that through our House Republican leadership to have them put it on the floor for an up or down vote and let the process work and allow the House to do its business. Ultimately, we could not reach agreement with House Republican leadership about putting those bills up for a vote. We introduced them as discharge petitions. 11 Republicans signed on to 2 of those bipartisan compromise bills. We do not have enough Democrats on them. The clock is ticking, and so ultimately, I and 3 others, Brian Fitzpatrick, Rob Bresnahan, and Ryan McKenzie, were left with no choice but to sign the 3-year discharge and force an actual vote on the House floor. Ultimately, if it passes the House, it'll have to go to the Senate. We saw this 3-year bill fail in the Senate last week when Chuck Schumer put it up for a vote. So the final product will have to be a compromise, and that's been my point from the start.
You are playing a very, very risky game, Representative Lawler.
Do the work.
Right.
Do the bipartisan compromise. And frankly, Dana, this is important.
Yeah.
Both leaders have failed here because we don't have a bill on the floor, and Hakeem Jeffries is sticking with his 3 years or bust with no reforms.
Okay.
So it creates a real challenge to get something done.
You think that what just took place is you and 3 other Republicans, 4 total, sign on to the discharge petition that comes forward from Hakeem Jeffries that requires a 3-year extension of Obamacare subsidies that only existed because of COVID. And you're expecting the Senate to rework things as opposed to another pressure campaign? Oh, well, that's a great idea. No. Representative Lawler, that's going to work beautifully. Huh. By the way, if anybody would like some bourbon, I'm going to start pouring now. And we're all going to start drinking heavily. That's a dangerous game. You sign the discharge petition in hopes that the Senate will do the right thing because they didn't pass it once before. Fantastic. I'm telling you, you send this thing to Donald Trump's desk, he's going to pull out every marker he's got. Because he's going to say, look what I did. Risky stuff. Now, there's another way to look at this. Maybe Mike Lawler has a point. Now, Hakeem Jeffries is sticking to the 3 years because he can afford to, and he knows they're going to make changes in the Senate anyway, and they're going to get, 16 months out of it or whatever the case may be. Republicans need a plan that can be articulated in very short sentences and get rid of the Affordable Care Act once and for all. I have ideas. Happy to share them. This is Tony Katz today. Good Lord. Good gosh. Tickets.tonykatz.com. Yeah, I put it up because I had to blow my nose. Oh, you didn't want to be anywhere near that. No. I can feel it coming for the voice, though. The cold is now in the place where the voice is affected. That's what's coming. Tickets.tonykatz.com. The bourbon is going to flow. It is going to be such a good time. Defiance Beef, a sponsor. Premier Arms, PA Jewelers, the jewelry deals. The deal. You want to order a cow? You seriously for your freezer? The deals are going to be amazing. Amazing. Can't wait. January 24th. Tickets.tonykatz.com. I already have a cold. It happened. I got the cold. I was fine. And this was not yesterday. So what was yesterday? So Monday night? Monday night, I'm in bed. I'm trying to sleep. And the next thing you know, I was like, oh, crap, I'm sick. It's that moment where it's immediate. You're like, son of a mother. And that was it. And then yesterday was bad. Today is, it's in the head, the nose, but it's making its way. I question whether tomorrow I will have a voice. I do question. So by some chance, I'm not here tomorrow. That's why. That is why. So with that, hoo-wee. Oh, giant pain in the butt. All right. So what do I have? Oh, I've got the crazy Target lady. Producer Landon found that story. The crazy Target lady and the Charlie Kirk shirt. So I've got that. And then I've got... Well, I had something else. I did have something else for you. Do you hear about the FDA and baby formula? We're back to this problem? A giant recall. I've got that story. The FDA is really upset with retailers. Oh, and then I've got the trustees. So, yeah, we got a bunch. Got a bunch to get to. And I will bring that to you. Oh, look at Anne just got her ticket. Nicely, nicely done. Well done, well played. Good work. Flat out love it. Hold on a second. So 2 more trustees over at Heritage have decided to resign. This because of Kevin Roberts and the commentary about Tucker Carlson. I wonder if this is an inside baseball kind of happening. But I have noticed that Newsmax, that I do a lot of work with, and I'm not hired by them, they've been really, really on this subject. Tony Katz today. Good to be here. Good to be with you. Find everything at TonyKatz.com. Live streaming on the YouTube, youtube.com/Tony Katz. Get in there, get in the chat, say hello. Abby Spencer Moffitt and Shane McCuller, they have stepped down, citing deep concerns over the organization's direction and its refusal to unequivocally condemn anti-Semitism. One of them saying that, quote, no institution that hesitates to condemn anti-Semitism and hatred, or that gives a platform to those who spread them, can credibly claim to uphold the vision that once made the Heritage Foundation the world's most respected conservative think tank. This has to do with Tucker Carlson having on Nick Fuentes, and then Kevin Roberts of Heritage, who leads Heritage, saying Tucker Carlson is a friend, and I don't see the problem here. Basically what he said, but he didn't have the information. He didn't know what happened in the interview. He was talking blind, talking like a fool, and it led to a lot of consternation. And it has led to people resigning. So what does this all mean? Heritage is not the Heritage that I knew, and I was never a part of Heritage. Certainly, I had done some work with them. They have actually a radio studio, podcast place where people could do interviews from. I've done my radio show from there before. I've done other events there. I want the think tanks. I want the wonks. I want the geeks. I want them doing geeky, wonky things. It's good. Coming up with ideas and coming up with philosophies. This is good stuff. The American Institute for Economic Research, for example, having nothing to do with Heritage. Bunch of economic wonks. I want them there. I want them doing wonk stuff. Wonk stuff is the good stuff. It's valuable. More of that. They're not usually good storytellers, which is why they need people like us. But some of them are extremely good researchers. I want them doing good research. That's what I want. So when we take a look at these 2 resignations, is this pressure on Heritage to change and get rid of Kevin Roberts? Do they distance themselves from Tucker Carlson? Because Tucker Carlson doesn't seem to care. He's out there saying, Qatar is a better friend than Israel. We should be better friends with Qataris. I mean, I don't even understand why we're friends with Israel, to be honest. Never made any sense to me. People would tell me that Israel's our friend, and I always be like, I swear, I just didn't understand. I thought it so confusing. Honestly, my Tucker's getting better. It kills me to do it, right? That dude was always very nice to me. When I didn't have a career and I had an idea for a show, I made an appointment to see him in his office. He was a daily caller. I'm like, what do you think of this? He's like, I think it's cool. That's where the conversation ended. I'd done his show a couple times. I had often said about Tucker, most people you see on TV and most people you see on radio, they're commenting on the news. They are not engaging a thought that becomes the news. Oh, that is much more difficult. I'm not at that scale yet. The two guys who did that, Tucker, and before him, Glenn Beck. Rush was a much different beast. So the we're talking about the performance of television here versus the intimacy of radio, and those are different mediums. There's no doubt that those two guys did that. They created news cycles. They created thought. And I think that's certainly over for Tucker when you're going to tell me how great the Qataris are. And so now here I am doing a Tucker Carlson impression. Dear Lord, how the mighty have fallen when Katz is doing an impression of you. Dear gosh. By the way, not bad. Come on. Like a good 6.5 is that impression. Come on. I'm curious to see what happens. Then there's the FDA. The FDA has now sent warning letters to retailers about baby formula. There has been a recall of baby formula, and the FDA is sending out these letters to all of these retailers saying that if we have a recall, you got to get this stuff off the shelves because the baby formula has been connected to a nationwide outbreak of bacterial illness. So the FDA is like, you're keeping this on the shelves. What the bloody heck is wrong with you? I want to understand the procedures. And if anybody knows anything about this logistically, or in the world of supermarkets legally, you are sent notification, right? The company, the legal team is whatever, is sent notification that the FDA is issuing a recall. You're now the legal department. You send it off to the proper channel. And then from there, someone says, okay, get this out to the stores. Let's get this thing off the shelves. First, do I have that part right? It would go to a person, I assume, in legal. It would then go to the appropriate department or person in the C-suite to then engage in the decision to execute on it. Then it would go out to the stores and the stuff would be recalled. So where in that process is someone like, you know what? Just sell out what we have. It's fine. Sir, they're talking about bacterial illness. Yeah, whatever. Or in today's world, ma'am, they're talking about bacterial illness. Yeah, whatever. Target, Walmart, Kroger, and Albertsons kept this brand called By Heart, B-Y capital H-E-A-R-T, By Heart. They kept it on shelves even after they were notified of the recall in November. Just waiting for a lawsuit? That's crazy. And I want to know what happened and where in the chain of events did everything fall to crap. As of last week, 51 infants in 19 states who became ill from 2 weeks to 9 months old. What am I missing? What don't I understand here? Is my process out of whack? Is there some type of tribunal that has to meet to decide whether or not the recall is legitimate? I'm mortified. I am horrified, and yet intrigued. Explain to me the system and what didn't work in some of the biggest names of retailers out there. Speaking of Target, did you hear about this crazy woman who yelled at an elderly employee for wearing a Charlie Kirk t-shirt? Oh, we've got the audio. That's up next. Keep it here. This is Tony Katz Today. Welcome back, Tony Katz Today. Oh, I've got the audio, producer Landon, so I'm all set for this right here. Yeah, I'm sorry if I'm not as talkative in between as I normally am. It is the cold. It is the cold, and right after the live stream, I will be on Newsmax. So I've got some stuff set up for the radio show, so that'll play. We booked it a while ago, so I will be on Newsmax, and then I'm back on Newsmax at like 6:30. It's been a lot lately. I don't know. It's like the question you used to do a lot with Fox. What happened? The answer is Lord only knows. Then again, what happened to Fox? Like it's like the Katie Pavlich move. What if there was no opportunity there, but there's an opportunity here? What are you supposed to do? Believe there's only one place for the opportunity? Nah. No. I'm in many ways when it comes to TV, a gun for hire. Although I don't get paid yet. It's always been mostly okay in that being a contributor. I don't know. I vacillate between it's always good for the exposure. Man, you're not really digging in like you get to here. This is the everything, right? And so even if I was, to what I want to do, like shows like Hannity or shows like, when on Newsmax I do Carl Higbee shows a lot. That was never my interest. I want to do an actual talk show. I want to do something entertaining. I really want to do Eat, Drink, Smoke on a larger scale, like all the time. That's what I want. So I never wanted to do those shows. So I see Katie Pavlich with the show on News Nation. They're making some changes there. I'm like, good for her. Talk about not interested. I couldn't see the enjoyment in that. The money, maybe, but the enjoyment, no. But if Katie didn't see anything happening and opening at Fox to way to be able to do this, and she has the opportunity, of course, take it. Take it. Right? It's just like, do I have an issue with Fox? Well, not really. If they want to call again and be like, hey, we'd like to talk about X, sure. I've always said this about CNN. I tried. CNN, of course, should have hired me from midnight to 2 a.m. Jim Acosta didn't want midnight to 2 a.m. It was beneath him. Okay. I'll take that gig. I would still take that gig. And then Barry Weiss announced CBS is hiring a bunch of contributors. So I sent her a little note that said, hi, Barry. First time I've ever sent an emoji. CBS might be interesting. Again, I don't think I want to be a contributor, but for what they're trying to do over there, I'd give it a go. I'd give it a shot. All right, let's go. So there is a story out of Target, which is weird because usually there's a story out of Walmart. Tony Katz today. Good to be here. Good to be with you. Producer Landon did the edit up. Well done. Well played, sir. There's a woman working at Target. She's an older woman. I don't know how old, but she's an older woman. And she is wearing a shirt that says freedom. She's wearing a shirt like Charlie Kirk. It's got like an American flag look on the back, some stuff on the sleeves. It says freedom. The shirt is red. Because, the Target people, they have to wear a red shirt. For whatever reason, angry Karen, but I feel so bad for women named Karen. I feel so awful. But the minute you say it, everybody knows what you're talking about. Karen actually took hold in the country even faster than 6'7". And don't ask, nobody knows what it actually is. It's from a song. No one cares. They just want the score in a game to be 6'7", and then they go nuts or whatever it is. Whatever it is. Anytime you can mention it, make the kids happy. And so this woman pulls out her phone and starts recording. Why are you wearing that terrible shirt?
Why?
They let you wear that shirt here?
Yes. Why? Why are you taking my picture?
Why are you wearing that shirt? You're working. It's not a Target
red shirt. I can wear any red shirt.
It's not a plain shirt.
It doesn't have to be.
It's a Charlie Kirk shirt.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if the woman who is holding the phone is some expert at what Target allows and doesn't allow for what you wear, but she certainly acts like it. And I could even respect the idea that you shouldn't wear a shirt that has any political sloganeering on it. The shirt says freedom. The woman, the Karen, goes ballistic.
Yes. Yes, I know.
Are you stupid?
No.
The Karen looks at this older woman who works at Target and says, are you blanking stupid? That's how you talk to people. If you had an issue with the shirt, you go, wait, hold on. The Karen would like to speak to the manager. I swear to you, sometimes it writes itself. That's what you go do. You're going to berate this woman? You think you're so pious, you're so above it all, you're so special that you could do such a thing? Oh, and it goes on.
Would you wear that? You're at work at Target. That's not a Target shirt. It's not a plain red shirt. You support a racist.
It's not racist.
You support a racist.
He's not a racist.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
I'm sorry, but I'm not going to stand here and argue with you.
You're not. You should go get your manager. You should not be allowed to wear that at work. Unacceptable. Unacceptable.
That's your opinion.
No, the opinion is he's a racist and you support him.
That's your opinion now.
And you should not be allowed to wear that. This is going to be taken above your head. That's insane. Insane.
Have a nice day.
She's single. No? That's not. I thought some people might be interested to be like, wow, that's the kind of woman you want to bring home to Ma. You understand, liberal white women, this is why we can't stand you. This is who you are. Elitist snobs who think that their opinion has to be voiced. You don't know how to control yourself. You don't know how to keep control of your emotions. You don't know how to look at something and say, boy, that's dumb, and then go get whatever it is what you were getting at Target and go home. You believe that your voice matters and you should be allowed to speak and everybody should be subject to your brilliance and you'll change the world. It's why your husband is banging the secretary. What? Oh, don't worry. I'll get an email. I'll get an email from my program director and I'll get an email from station managers. Most of them will be with a thumbs up. Others will be like, Kat, seriously, don't do that to us. I will find another way to say it, guys. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen of my stations, if indeed that created any issue. I mean, being factual sometimes does these things. I'll find a better way to say it. If your issue was the shirt, you go and you say, hey, general manager of the store, that's not really appropriate for the workplace, in my view, as a customer. And then they can have a discussion from there, and then you can decide whether or not you go to Target or not. You don't have to shop at Target. They got a whole bunch of stores out there. Shop somewhere else. Now, I think that there's actually a legitimate argument about what kind of things show up on a shirt and what you can wear. And it's very possible that someone saw the shirt and was like, oh, freedom, and moved on with their day because there's nothing offensive about it. But check out the certitude that the Karen has about Charlie Kirk being a racist. She couldn't name a single thing Charlie Kirk ever said in his entire life, but she was told very reliably from Rachel Maddow that Charlie Kirk is a racist, and once you're programmed, out into the world you go, selling that program. And it doesn't matter how much the program glitches or makes you look like a subhuman while you're yelling at the elderly woman who's working at Target. Oh no, her circumstance never even came into the Karen's mind. Only the Karen's feelings mattered at the moment, no matter who she berated or how she berated them. I swear to you, this is mandatory viewing for your children. For your daughters, this is not how you act. And for your sons, you don't marry women who act like that. Walk away. Walk away. You can do better. You deserve better. To the woman who worked at Target, keep up the good work. Thanks for showing up. This is Tony Katz Today. Nutty. Totally nutty. Guys, listen, I appreciate you. I'm sorry I have to run. We're going to do a thing on Newsmax. You should tune in. Tune in to Newsmax right now, newsmax.com. Right? And I'm going to do some TV. It's going to be a good time. And there's going to be laughter and joy and maybe some pie. There's not going to be any pie, although pie sounds really good. Pie sounds fantastic. I appreciate you guys very, very much. Don't forget to get your tickets. Tickets.tonykatz.com. Trump 1 year later, the highs, the lows, how we win the midterms. That's January 24th, 2026, downtown Indianapolis at the Hyatt Regency. Tickets.tonykatz.com. Get your tickets. Tickets.tonykatz.com. Do it now. It's going to be amazing. Just an amazing night. Guys, I appreciate you. I'm going to do everything I can with the cold to be back tomorrow. That's my plan. That is my plan. Subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/Tony Katz. I will catch you then, y'all. Catch you tomorrow. See me on Newsmax right now. Take care.